Hi everyone, I'm Terry Conrad at TLC Home on Twitter, and this is our premiere video for Raw, Real Estate and Women. And I want to thank Lavina Gaucher for inviting me to be a contributor. It's very much an honor, and I appreciate it, and I'm really excited to engage with other women who are also trying to build their brand and live rich, fulfilling lives within their careers. And on that note, I think I want to set the tone for kind of how I want to move forward in this space and the message that I think is important, or rather the conversations that I think are important to have, and that is, well, let me start with a story. So when I was 10 years old, my father gathered all the kids, there were four of us at the time, into the living room, and he had a gift for us. And what it was this medallion, which I now carry on my keychain. I don't know if you can see that. It is a little medallion, and all the black is out, and it's old. It's like from 1979. But if you can read it below, it says S.I.B.K.I.S. And of course, what that stood for is see it big, keep it simple. And you'll see the tip of the iceberg over top of the water line with the bulk of the iceberg hidden below the water line. And on the back of it, which you can barely see anymore, you probably can't see it at all, it says, "Be positive, T.L. Conrad, I can, 1979. This is a treasure of mine from my father. And the reason I treasure it so much is because it's been a really important lesson in my life. Little backstory to that story is while he was giving us this medallion, he wanted to have this very deep and rich and meaningful conversation. And I was the oldest at 10, so we're a room full of kids, young children, trying to understand what my father was teaching us, clearly grasping that this was very important to him. And he focused entirely on keeping it simple, but he made it so complicated that we figured we weren't getting something. Kind of a little ironic joke. And I think it's a great spin and a parallel. And frankly, I think it's a model for how I want to move forward in this space, which is see it big, keep it simple. Back up. Look at the big picture. What are we doing in our careers? So a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. One, defining your own success. I think this is huge for us women in particular. I don't know about you, but I've always felt like unless I'm a top producer and I'm doing top volume and I've got, generating massive sales numbers and I own my space or own my area, that, I'm just not successful. And of course, I back up quite a bit here, and I'm going to say to you, this is my experience. I'm not suggesting for anybody that this is what you need to do, but what I'm suggesting is that it's really paramount to identify your priorities in life and understand, what does success mean to you? Maybe success isn't only measured in dollars or numbers of deals or how popular you are, or if everyone in your area thinks of you in terms of real estate. I have many different metrics for measuring my own personal success. One being valuable time that I get to spend with my family. Another one being, friends that I get to engage with, or projects that I get to partake in that frankly don't pay any money, but they're great fun. They're enriching for me and my growth. There's a lot of different ways that I measure success. So I really wanted to share that message with you, that I think that this is a conversation that will be ongoing. I'm sure many of you will have lots of other things that you would say to that. The other thing I wanted to touch on was we just came off the heels of Social Media Week here in Vancouver, BC, and we were one of 3 cities in North America also doing it September 19th to 23rd, 2011. The next one will be February 2012. And this is a global event. It was a huge undertaking. I was working with a socialized team here in Vancouver. And we worked our tails off. It was an amazing, amazing event. Well, sorry, it was 30 plus events, 72 plus keynote speakers and guests, panel guests. We had multiple venues, multiple sectors. We had a government track, we had social good, we had social 101, we had a legal, we had oh gosh, all kinds. We had a leading women in business mashup, which I spoke at. There were so many different things going on. We had a real estate track, of course, with that, which I co-hosted with Stephen Jagger, and all of them were huge success. Enterprise 2.0 was actually my favorite. We had Jeff Booth, from CEO from Bill Direct, and Eric Weaver, who works with a company down in Seattle now, came back. He used to be at DDB here in Vancouver. The two of them gave the most profound keynotes, I would say, that I've heard in a very, very long time. Two things stuck out for me. One was they both talked about social media fatigue and how we're, I think, inundated with all these new tools and platforms, and there's so much going on, and how do you keep up with it all, and should you keep up with it all, was an interesting question. And the other one being, really it's about building relationships. And Jeff touched on the rule of 150 and how you can only really have meaningful relationships with about 150 studies have been done, and that's really the most we're capable of handling. And then when you talk about, well, if you've got like all these different platforms and all these different mediums that you're supposed to be a part of, what's going on? Where do I put my energy? That's where I said, okay, stop. Let's back the bus up a little bit. Let's go back to, what is my strategy? What am I trying to achieve? Who am I talking to? How am I going to best reach them? What's my style of communication? And then choose the platforms that matter to you, and don't worry about the rest. There's a lot of talk going on right now, especially about a lot of fear-mongering, frankly. A lot of fear-mongering. Everyone's panicked about all the new Facebook changes, and there's all these places you're supposed to be, but you might not be there, and there's ways that you should be engaging, and these are things that we can dive into more. I would love your feedback. I would love to hear about, if is there something that I personally can help you with, or are there conversations you're dying to have, but you just haven't seen anybody touch on those subjects yet. These are the kinds of conversations I love to have, because I think that strategy and psychology and sociology, all of these things blend together for us as realtors, because we're in the relationship business. So I want to thank you again for your time. I welcome the conversations. Feel free to email me, terry@tlchome.ca, or of course you can comment here on the Raw site. And I really look forward to having these conversations. Thanks.